As William Butler Yeats said, education is not the filling of a pail, but rather the lighting of a fire. That is why education is so important. It's about finding something that lights something in you. It's that spark. And that spark gives you energy. It gives you the drive to really go in and learn. And when you have that drive and you're really getting great at a topic, you're passing other people. You're becoming more capable of things that other people are simply not capable of. You can bring into this world something others can't. But it started with that spark. It started with something becoming a fire. It's not about gaining the knowledge. It's about having the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm to see it through. And when you understand that that is the point of education, to build something, to create something, to touch a life, to change people, to change yourself. If you want to really alter the fabric of society, of humanity, to make this place better, you've got to be on fire. You've got to want it so bad that you're going to fight through all of the things that are coming for you, all of that inertia, all of the things that are going to work against you. Life is going to push back. But when you're on fire for something, you'll keep going until you get to your end. You'll keep pursuing that knowledge until you know enough to bend the world to your will. And as Jonathan Winters said, if your ship doesn't come in, swim out to meet it. That's the fire. That's the energy I'm talking about. The reason that people don't do that is when they're standing on the shore and all they have awaiting them at the end is more knowledge filling the pail. And they look at the ocean before them and think about stepping into the cold water, how hard it's going to be to swim against the current. They don't dare to go in. When you're on fire, when you love something, when you're passionate about it, when it's playtime for you, when you just want to do it, when it doesn't matter what other people think, when it doesn't matter if they're making fun of you because it's something that you care about, you just do. It's in you. The fire was lit. Then all of a sudden you will swim out. And that's why people tell you, pursue your passion. Because when you're on fire, the things that you can do are astonishing. Astonishing. And that's what we all want. The most powerful human emotion is awe. We want to leave ourselves in awe of what we're capable of, but to reach that level, we've got to be on fire. So approach knowledge like that. Don't think of it as filling the pail. Think of it as being lit on fire. So if it doesn't light you on fire, move on to the next and the next and the next and the next until you find it, because there is something for everyone that will light you on fire. And once you're lit, just watch what you can do. And once you're burning, just watch what you can do. And once you have that, just watch what you can do. Everybody wants to be successful. But virtually nobody understands that success is a path. It's a process. It's not a finish line. It's not something that you do once and then you finish. It is literally the systematic acquisition of skills. And as Scott Adams said, every skill you acquire doubles your odds of success. And that's it, that's the secret. If you really want to do something in your life, if you really want to be great, if you want to smash it, if you want to be remembered, the key is to acquire as many skills as you can, because everything that you bring into your world gives you an exponentially greater chance of winning, of doing the thing that you want to do. But you have to be totally focused and committed on gaining those skills. And as The Rock pointed out, success at anything will always come down to this: focus and effort, and we control both. Once you understand that that's what you have to do, you have to get control of yourself. You have to stay focused on something. You have to learn the discipline and apply it on your path to success to acquire the skills that you want to acquire. That it is going to demand of you that you work harder, you work smarter, and you work longer than anybody else. And that's the fucking secret. There really is no grand mystery. If you want to be successful, if you want to do something other people can't do, then you have to become capable of the extraordinary. You have to become capable of doing something that other people can't. And that is the best possible news I could give you. Because it doesn't matter what you're born with. it doesn't even matter who you are. What matters is who you want to become and the price that you're willing to pay to get there. And let me tell you this, the price is known. And that price is the acquisition of skills. That price is getting so good that people can ignore you. That price is being able to beat anyone at the game that you've chosen to play. Once you get to that point, once people stand back in awe when they watch what you're doing, then you will have won. Then success will be yours. But it was in no uncertain terms the result of the path that you walked. And as Angela Duckworth notes, enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. So when you sneak out that first lead, when you get ahead of people and you think, hey, I've acquired this skill, I've done something, people are looking at me like I can't be stopped. Remember that right now, at this moment, someone is practicing. While you're not doing the thing that you need to be doing, while you're sitting back in your laurels, very happy with what you've accomplished, somebody else is going to eat your lunch because they have a passion and enthusiasm that endures. And at the end of the day, if you can want something so badly, if you fucking burn from the inside to do something, to become something, to become capable of more, then you will endure. Then you'll be able to push past other people. Then when other people break and they lie in your wake, you will push forward, because that fucking thing in you that you have cultivated is the ability to endure. It is not the ability to be a badass. It is not the ability to think that you're cool. It is the ability to kick your own ass, to deal with what is boring, to live in the pain, to step towards anguish, to know that suffering is a choice and you choose to turn it off because you know on the other side of endurance, on the other side of outlasting everybody else, is a skill set that makes you unstoppable. As Derek Jeter said, there may be people who have more talent than you, but there's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do. At the end of the day, whether you believe in talent or not is completely irrelevant. Everyone should believe in hard work. Everything in your life is literally a result of that. You're born an infant, a lump of flesh that can't even hold its own head up, and yet somehow, by practicing, by learning, by growing, you're able to get better. You're literally incapable of anything when you're born. Every skill that you have in your life, all the things that you take for granted, at one point you couldn't do them. So understanding that humans truly are an adaptation machine and that they are capable of acquiring any skill that they want, but it requires hard work. It requires that you do the reps. It requires that you put in the effort. And at the end of the day, the people that you're going to surpass are not going to be the people that have less talent than you. Maybe they even have more talent than you. It's going to be the people that you're willing to outwork. But until you're willing to outwork them, you're always going to be stuck. And as John Irving said, to do anything really well, you have to overextend yourself. And that's the key. If you want to put in an extraordinary performance, if you want to absolutely dazzle people, then you have to do something amazing. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to do things that other people think are going to break you, that other people simply believe there's no way that you could be able to pull that off, that the human animal just is not capable of the lengths to which you are professing to go. And when you profess it, you have to be willing to back it up, and you have to put yourself on that march knowing in no uncertain terms, under no circumstances, and for no reason whatsoever would you ever be willing to back down. And when you go in with that level of certainty, then and only then are you actually going to be able to pull this off. And as Billie Jean King said, champions keep playing until they get it right. Fatigue will literally chip away at your will to win. It is the thing inside of your mind, that weak voice that tells you that you're not going to be able to make it, the weak voice that begs you to stop, and the weak voice that promises safety and security if you would just quit. And here's the worst part about that. It's right. If you quit right now, if you stop, just sit down, relax. You're not at risk anymore. You're not at risk of embarrassment. You're not at risk of failure. But you're also not at risk of greatness. And if you really want to achieve something, you've got to find ways to put yourself at risk of something great happening. You've got to put yourself at risk of overextending yourself. You've got to be willing to face that you may die, that you may actually fall. And here's the thing, for the people that dismiss that say they would never put themselves in that situation, then you have limits. And make no mistake, those limits are self-placed. And for the people that are willing to push that, for people that are willing to go beyond that, for people who understand there are things in this world that they're prepared to die for, and it is the thing that they put at the center of their life. It is the thing that they are living for, but they're not going to stop, and they understand that where the human mind thinks it will break is far short of where it will actually break. But before you can find that point, you've got to be willing to push yourself. You've got to be willing to go harder and farther than anybody thinks is reasonable or sensible. That's the path. And so the question is, can you be thought a fool? The question is, do you believe in something so much that you would put yourself at risk like that? The question is, can you face down everyone, including the weak voice inside of your own mind, to make the world come true that you want to see come true? Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to do it for you. So if you're a champion, keep going until it's done. The first step in really empowering yourself, the first step in really going beyond what you thought is possible, is actually to stop judging other people, to stop looking at them and trying to put them in a box, because as you build boxes to put other people into, you inevitably put yourself into a box. As Yoda says, "Judge me by my size, do you?" If you're looking at other people and making judgments about all the external things, you can't help but begin to signal against yourself. You can't help but begin to see yourself in the limitations of other people. And as you cram people into those boxes and see them as these finite, incapable beings, it cannot help but reflect back on you. So instead, as Han Solo said, never tell me the odds. Never tell me what box I'm in. Never tell me what I'm up against. Never tell me about your limitations. Never tell me about my limitations. Because that, my friends, is what you have to break free from. You have to see past limitations and see only potential. You can't be looking at what the chances are that you're going to get through something. You have to know in your heart of hearts, somehow, some way, you have prepared yourself well enough. You will get through this moment. You will find something on the other side. You will reach in and you will find that grit, and you will know at that moment that all of your preparation has led to this moment. And as long as you've done the work, as long as you've understood that every moment leading up to this has been about practice, it's been about putting in the work, it's been about having the discipline to do the things that other people are not willing to do, so when the game time comes, you're ready. And the only thing the odds could ever do is hope to fuck you up, because you are capable of the 1 in a million. You're capable of the 1 in a billion. You're capable of that because you've forced yourself to be, because you've prepared yourself, because you got out of the box, because you refuse to see limitations, because the only thing you focus on is how to develop. The only thing you focus on is your ability to get better over time through consistency and practice. So remember, as Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. There is simply the belief that you're going to be able to make it happen, that you have the skills that you're going to need to be able to execute. In those moments, if you let doubt creep in those moments, if what you're focused on is a potential failure, then you will fail. But in those moments, if you know that you're ready, that you have prepared for that moment, that there is no such thing as luck, that you have everything you need right here in this moment to be able to execute, then just do it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't fucking blink. Just get in there and do it. And don't worry about the outcome, because the only outcome is victory on a long enough timeline. The only outcome is victory. When you believe in yourself enough to keep going, the only outcome is victory. When you don't let anything distract you, you close your eyes, you take the shot, and you hit it, whether it's 1 in a million or not. That's preparation. That's readiness. That's showing up. May the 4th be with you. Everyone takes the limits of their own vision for the limits of the world. Arthur Schopenhauer. There is all around you right now the reflections of your world belief. They're so ever present that you don't even see them. All the assumption that you've made about the world, the things that are possible, what you're capable of, who you are, the very definition of what it means to be alive, all of it is completely invisible. And you're mistaking what you have for what could be. And once you break free of that, once you understand that right now you're a moment in time and that you have latent potential, and that latent potential can be expressed in the form of skills, that you can get good at things, that you can develop yourself in any direction, that brain plasticity alone is one of the greatest weapons that you're not using. But you have to move beyond what you can perceive today. You have to begin to look beyond that and see that which doesn't yet exist. And you have to remember that many of the things that are holding you down are rules that you don't even realize are rules. And as General Douglas MacArthur said, you're remembered for the rules you break. And right now, you're following rules that you don't even realize exist. And some of those rules are simply what is okay to dream. But I'm here to tell you, the power is in recognizing that you can do it. The power is in having the arrogance of belief. The power is in understanding that you, yes, you are going to be capable of something simply because you are willing to believe in yourself. And that's the thing, it's a willingness to believe in yourself. No one's gonna give it to you. Even the people that love you, they're not gonna give you that. They are incapable of giving it to you. People cannot see past their limitations, and they take them for truth. People actually believe the things that have stopped them will forever not only stop them, but they will stop other people. How can they hope to give you anything but limitation? So if you know that even the people that love you, what they're handing you is limitation with the best of fucking intentions, with all the love in the world, how are you gonna break out of that? How are you gonna break past those rules? How are you gonna fight the anxiety that inevitably comes your way when you think about going against the grain? But my friends, until you can do that, you can never get beyond the bullshit that limits you. If people said gravity is what it is, we never would have reached escape velocity. And yet, as a species, we have been able to hurl a fucking rocket into space, get it outside of gravity, take us to other planets. That is real only because somebody said, I refuse to be held down by the most obvious rule that we have, the one that everybody says is beyond reproach, and that is gravity. But even gravity will break under the weight of a superior will. So recognize, as Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Can you be content to be thought foolish and stupid? Or do you allow yourself to be caged, to be hemmed in by what other people think? And look, I get it. I understand the sting of contempt. I understand how much it sucks when someone you respect doesn't respect you. But you cannot be anything more than their captive if you think about what they think about you. If you let yourself be defined by what other people perceive of as you, then you will forever be limited by what they give you permission to do. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I said, when I'm an adult, I will never fucking be told what to do again. I will never be held back by somebody else. I will define myself. I will figure out what I need to do, and I will do it. And at the end of the day, that is it. My goals drive my behavior. I am not held back by what other people think about me, no matter how fucking intoxicating it is to be loved. You have to decide what you want more. Do you want to be you, or do you want to be someone else's reflection of you? As JBS Haldane said, "The world shall perish not for a lack of wonders, but for a lack of wonder." Everything around you is incredible if you're willing to look at it that way. Everything around you can be taken for granted if that's your perspective. But it really is about the frame that you choose to put around things. I mean, simply being alive is already insane. The odds are so stacked against you, not only just being a human, but being a human at this moment in time. This moment in time where breakthroughs in technology are happening at an unprecedented rate, where breakthroughs in medical science are happening at an unprecedented rate, where our ability to connect with people, to empathize with people all the way around the globe, all of the changes that have happened in technology and telecom and connectivity, health, everything. We're living in the most miraculous time ever. But you have to look at it that way. And as Joseph Campbell said, life is a wonderful, wonderful opera, except that it hurts. So the question is, do you see it as the beautiful opera? Or do you just pay attention to the pain? And at the end of the day, you're gonna get what you focus on. They're both true. This is both the most amazing time that's ever happened, ever in recorded history. And yet real things that are terrifying are also happening. But where you put your energy, where you put your attention, where you put your focus is going to determine what you see. And that is the most fascinating and the most important thing you have to understand about the way that your mind works. You get what you focus on. If you focus on the things that are bad, they will become real. They will become exaggerated. They will begin to monopolize your thoughts. You'll see them everywhere. It's called the reticular activating system. Your mind is literally designed to pay attention to the things that you notice. Once you notice a certain car, you see it everywhere. Once you notice a certain dog, you see it everywhere. Once you hear a certain name for the first time, suddenly you realize that that name has been all around you this entire time. But now that you're focusing on it, now that you're looking for it, it is everywhere. So whatever you look for, it's going to be everywhere. If you look for the negative, it'll be there. But if you look for the positive, it will overwhelm you. And as Joseph Campbell said, people say what we're all seeking is a meaning for life, but I don't think that's what we're really seeking. I think what we're seeking is the experience of truly being alive. And that's it. That's the juice. Figuring out that thing that makes you come alive. It isn't keeping up with the Joneses. It isn't how much you're getting paid. It isn't anything other than for you. Something very specific. It will be different for everyone, but for you. Find that thing that makes you come alive. Focus on it. Think about it. Put your time and attention there. Shift away from seeing the pain in the opera and instead seeing the wonderment in it all. Seeing the glory that is just everything around you, the opportunities, the fact that you're alive. Once you can see that those basic things that you take for granted, that you can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, all of that stuff, once you start seeing how miraculous it really is, once you start seeing how we're connected to each other, once you understand that the name of the game isn't wealth, it isn't fame, it isn't ambition or success, it's neurochemistry. It's feeling a certain way. It's finding fulfillment in your life. Once you realize that, you'll understand this is a game of attention, and you entirely control what you focus on. So choose very wisely, my friends, because your life will literally become the summation of the things that you look at. As Thomas Jefferson said, "He who knows best knows just how little he knows." And this has been one of the most surreal things about my experience as an entrepreneur, is that the better I get at it, the more that I do, the more I feel lost, the more I feel like there's too much for me to possibly know and understand. And in that is my power. That's literally the source of my power, because I understand that my journey is one of learning. I understand that, as Naval Ravikant said, The genuine love for reading itself, when cultivated, is a superpower. The means of learning are abundant. It's the desire to learn that's scarce. But if you have that desire, if you cultivate that desire to learn, if you accept that you're in this big world that is far too big for you to understand every piece of it, but in recognizing that you don't understand it all and putting yourself on this quest to learn obsessively, to get better, to fall in love with the actual process of gaining knowledge, if you stay hungry for that at all times and you don't calcify your thoughts into dogma, but rather stay fresh, stay naive, stay hungry and foolish to really learn and grow, then you actually obtain power. And this is the part I want people to understand. Look past the words and hear what I'm really saying. As you take on the knowledge, as you're learning one thing after another, those skills have practical application. And it is that practical application born of understanding how little you really know that allows you to become far more powerful than the people that think they know. Because when they think they know, they stop growing. When they think they know, they calcify. When they think they know, their thoughts get brittle like bone and break. But when you think you know nothing, when you think you have to learn everything, when you're really just trying to figure out if something works, if it gets you the result, then those skills become real. They become tested by what you're doing. They are boundless because you're always trying to find that next thing. You're never self-satisfied. You're never self-congratulatory. You're simply asking, where do I want to go? What skills do I need to acquire to get there? And knowing that each one of those that you get, brick by brick by brick, builds a real path to where you want to go. So fall in love with the idea that you know nothing. Fall in love with the idea that learning is a superpower. Fall in love with that hunger. Want to get better every day. Never be tricked by the desire to be self-satisfied. Never be tricked by the desire to be great today. Never fool yourself into thinking who you are today is who you can become. I don't care how far you've come. I don't care how many accomplishments are in your rearview mirror. If you fall prey to that, your past will always be bigger than your future. And there is one mandate that I make of myself and anyone else that wants to be around me. Your future must always be bigger than your past. And the only way for that to be true is to love how little you really know, and to love how much you can learn if you just keep going.